Hello and welcome again to another video in the Learning to Drive with Gary Phillips series. Today we're going to look at how to do a left reverse around a left corner. We'll start off here. So we'll imagine that you're parked on the left and you've got the corner that you want to reverse around ahead of you. The reason that you'd need to do a left reverse is if you've gone the wrong way, you want to turn the car around and maybe the road's not wide enough to do a turn in the road, but you've got a road on the left to reverse into. So it's a good way to turn the car around to go in the opposite direction. So normally you wouldn't actually be parked on the left, but in a test situation, or while you're practicing it in your lessons, the examiner or instructor would ask you to park on the left before the junction, just so that it gives you a chance to see what's going to happen in a test situation. But normally you'd be driving along and you would choose your junction to reverse around. So to decide which is a correct junction to reverse around, you've got to think, is it scalp? Is it safe, convenient and legal? So safe, if there are children playing around there, it wouldn't be very safe to do it. Is it convenient? Is it going to inconvenience other road users? Is the road too busy? Is it going to cause problems to other people if you did it there? So it wouldn't be convenient. And legal, is it a one-way street that you're going to reverse into? It wouldn't really be legal to reverse the wrong way into a one-way street. So we consider all those things as we look at the junction. And as we go past the junction, we are looking in also to make sure that there aren't any obstructions. That wouldn't be convenient or safe to do it either. So you look in, see if you see any signs like no entry or one-way signs, whether there's any obstructions, children playing, or anything that could cause you a problem. If it's all safe, then you're going to pull up on the left just after the junction. So to do that, you would go through your MSM routine again. Only signal if you need one, and if you do need a signal, make sure that it is after the junction, because if you do it here, they'll think you're going to turn into that road. So wait till you get just past, and then signal to move across to pull in on the left. But that's only if you need it. The distance from the curb that you would leave is about a foot. So if you think of a drain, a grid's distance, that kind of distance from the curb, and that just gives you a little bit more manoeuvrability for when you're doing the manoeuvre, so that it's not going to clip the curb as you're going round. The distance past the junction, maybe 2 car lengths, you don't need to go too far. Then we're going to start the manoeuvre itself. So once you've stopped, you're going to reverse, turn yourself around in the seat so that you can see through the back window, and you're going to reverse back in a straight line until we reach what we call the point of turn. Now the point of turn should be visible if you look over your left shoulder through the side window. There's normally a little window at the back of the back door, what you call a quarter window. If there isn't, it's just tight in the back corner of the door window, that you would perhaps see the corner curve round. Now when you see the curve of the corner, then stop there, because that's your point of turn. And we're going to stop there for observations, because when you start to steer around the corner, your front end is going to swing out. So we need to check ahead and over your right shoulder before you commit yourself to swing out into the path of the traffic that might be coming down or even going past you this way. So we're looking for that point of turn, which is the curved curb, usually through the side window. If you're very tall, you might see it through the back window. If you've got a very short, small car, then you might see it through the back window. But generally speaking, it's somewhere around this region where you would see the point of turn. So that's that diagram. I'll move on to the next one because it's a bit easier to explain it on this one then. So we've got the point of turn and we've started to steer to go around the corner. Now how much steering do you need? Well, that depends on how sharp the corner is. The sharper it is, the more steering you'll need. But basically, to know that you're accurate, you're trying to keep that curb that you were looking at through that window, keep it in the same position. So if the curb moves down the window towards you, that means you're getting very wide. And if the curb moves towards the back, it means you're getting close. So try and keep it in exactly the same position that you had it in that side window, if that's where it was. If it moves an inch in that side window, it's probably moving 4 or 5 feet on the road. Yeah. So we need to make sure that as soon as you see it move a little bit in that window, that you do correct the steering accordingly. And if you're going wide, you'd steer towards the curb. If you're going close, you steer away from it. It's probably a little bit easier than thinking of left and right. So if you feel like you're getting close, steer away, and if you're getting wide, steer towards. At some point, you won't see that curve anymore, you'll see the straight curb. So I'll move on to the next diagram to explain that. The straight curb will be visible through your side window, but it needs to transfer into your back window. Because if you remember when you did a straight reverse, the straight curb was actually visible through your back window, probably about in the middle, as you were looking through the back window to judge where the curb was. It will probably be about in the middle. So once you've come around the curved curb, the straight curb needs to come back across into the back window until it gets to that position that tells you you're parallel with the curb. You could also check in your door mirror, because you should be able to see the curb at that point to tell if it's parallel. So we follow the curve around in the side window, and then we get the straight curb in the back window. And we'd reverse in for about 4 car lengths, and that just gives us enough room so that when we're going to emerge right, because we've done this to turn round, don't forget that we've got enough room to manoeuvre to left of centre position, and we're not going to turn right from the left, completely the left hand side of the road. So that's how I would judge the accuracy. Throughout the manoeuvre you're going to be doing lots of observations, and that's what these little symbols are showing us. So all round observation quite frequently, looking ahead, looking to your right, making sure you can see if anything's coming. If anything does come close to you, we would stop, decide what they wanted to do. Usually they'll go past you, but sometimes they'll wait. If they're waiting, then we can carry on. Mainly we'll be looking over our left shoulder, because that's where the vehicle's travelling, and it gives you a good vision through the back and to the side, so you should see most hazards there, but you will need to keep checking over your right shoulder and the head to see what's happening all around as you're doing it. When we come to a stop, make sure that you are looking backwards as you bring the car to a stop. And that's basically how you would do a left reverse, considering the accuracy and observation. The control is a different thing, so we'd need to think about the gradients, and if it's uphill you'll be using clutch and gas for clutch control. The steeper it is, the more gas you would need, and if it's downhill you'll be using brake control, which means that your foot will be on the brake and your clutch will be fully down, and you just release the brake and the car will roll. That will be fast enough for you to do the manoeuvre. It doesn't need to be very fast at all. It's not about doing it quickly, it's about doing it safely. So if the car's under full control, nice and slowly, you will have a chance to keep it accurate and get the observations in as well. So hopefully that's helped on the left reverse, and I look forward to seeing you next time.